More crazy threats from the North Korean regime. So common are threats of violence from Pyongyang that for many people they simply roll their eyes when they read the latest rantings. Now they're threatening a possible missile strike on Guam, US territory. What is US President Donald Trump's reaction to this? Well, he's a man-child, isn't he? He spoke of fire, fury, and power, the likes of which the world had never seen. Yeah. Cool, calm, and collected comments there. Reassuring words from the leader of the free world. The North Korean dictator and Donald Trump going at each other. Threats of nuclear annihilation. This is sadly not surprising in this world we live in. It's normalized insanity. The United States is clearly the biggest threat, the elephant in the room, if we're talking about the possibility of another global war, which will very likely be fought with nuclear weapons. As far as North Korea goes, it's a regional threat, yes. A disgusting regime that needs enemies, needs to paint the outside world in such a way as to make the regime not just relevant, but the virtuous saviours of the people, with the leader as this flawless God on earth. And it's a regime that will continue to be isolated and sanctioned by the international community. If they ever do attack the US or one of her allies, it'll be a bloodbath in East Asia, surely. Very dangerous situation. In the Western Hemisphere, we may well have a country isolating itself from a community of nations due to the actions of its government. I spoke a little on the subject of Venezuela in a video recently regarding this constituent assembly. Well, that has now been set up. Yeah. Various ministers from both South and North America met in Peru recently to discuss what's going on. Venezuela is being labelled as a dictatorship. The newly elected members of this Constituent Assembly sat in the Legislative Palace in Caracas, and as I understand, this new body voted to establish itself as the superior force to all other government branches in the South American country. This is, make no mistake about it, a pro-government body. Parliament is opposition dominated. Presidential elections on the horizon. Nicolas Maduro's approval rating low. Opposition forces are calling this a power grab. What would you call it? In East Africa, we have trouble surrounding the presidential election in Kenya. We have the opposition leader Odinga of the National Super Alliance Party claiming that hackers have infiltrated Kenya's election body, and so democracy has somehow been subverted here. He has said he has information, but can't reveal his sources. There have been clashes between the police and opposition supporters. The current incumbent is Uhuru Kenyatta, who is quite wealthy, I gather. Yeah, and he is the leader of the Jubilee Party. The opposition leader says also that the hack affects the Senate and the National Assembly. This isn't the first time that Odinga, a former political prisoner, has alleged fraud in Kenya. He did so back in 2013, and this would be the fourth time that he stood for president, I think. I'm obviously not in a position to say whether or not Mr. Odinga's claims are credible. Is it possible? The hack, I mean. Yeah. But he's going to take this to the courts, I think. And he's going to need evidence, proof of corruption or some kind of systemic failure to serve the will of the people. He needs evidence. Anyway, I will see you later, ladies and gents. Until next time, have a pleasant day, folks.